and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. My name is Chad Cushins, and you're listening to I Hate It Here. This is our second broadcast. I'm Chad Cushins. I am a journalist and independent filmmaker from Long Island, and we're going to be doing this as a weekly show, a very classic talk radio format. We welcome callers to discuss whatever topic is at hand, and we also welcome people to change the subject because I love feedback. I'm very fortunate that we're going to have three guests tonight. My co-host, as always, my best friend, Russ Papia, who not only is hosting his own show on Blog Talk Radio, Radioactive, which airs on Fridays at 5 p.m., but also I want to get some themes going for our weekly show. And tonight I'm very fortunate because in my life I have some very talented friends, and we have two great artists from Long Island who will be joining us, John Stack and also Peter Galasso. These guys have generated a lot of buzz over the past couple of months with their own shows, their own gallery openings, primarily in Suffolk and Nassau. And I think both of them have shows going on currently, as a matter of fact. So we might talk about some postmodern art and a lot of stuff that's going on Long Island. But let's see, we actually have both of them on the line, so let's welcome them right in. We only have a half hour. So...
Is this where we talk now? Hello?
Hello there, folks. Who do we have, on the line right now?
John.
What's up, John? How are you, man?
I'm very good. I'm actually painting as we speak because I do have a show that's actually on Thursday.
I want to thank you for being on the show, man.
I'm honored, dude. I'm absolutely honored. Episode 2. Let's
John,
bring it on.
I'm very appreciative for it. And also, I know for a fact that you had a show over in Port Jefferson about 3 months ago, which is where we first met. And it was your show that was from a group of friends of mine. It is the art collective Fresh Art Long Island that also do their shows at Toast Coffee House. So what have you been up to since then? I know that you've had quite a few shows, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, I've had a really crazy, awesome 3 months with my artwork. I mean, Toast really started it all for me. Basically, I didn't really have a lot of work done, and then Robert kind of asked me to do the show, and I was like, oh, shit, I should make use of this opportunity and bring out the best. And I didn't sleep for 2 weeks, and I just really poured out. It's like I'm passionate body of work, and it was all based on poems that I collected from my friends and stuff like that. And
I remember you had used a lot of found literature in order to produce that particular show. I remember you telling me this.
Yeah, actually, I really admire writers. Normally, in the past, my work was all based on kind of like personal events and stuff like that, and whether it was conscious to the viewer or not, it was more just based on, like my own kind of personal kind of stories and stuff like that. I draw people that I meet and stuff, and I really just wanted to branch out as far as my subject matter. So I really admire writers, and I asked out to my friends, and I got some really cool stuff going on with that. And anyone that's listening, What?
What I really liked about your show, now it was the first time that we had met, is I can't draw a straight line, but I always gravitate towards artists, and I love hearing what they have to say about feedback. And you seem to be very much the same way when it comes to writing. I love that writing inspired the pieces that were in the show. Is that a normal practice, or that was unique to that particular show?
It's something that I'm deep into right now, and I actually am continuing to ask people if anyone listening wants to send me stuff. It doesn't necessarily need to be a poem. That's generally what I got from people, but short stories and stuff like that, or even just a word or a couple words. I can work with anything.
Open call for inspiring material. That's amazing to me. Where can people find your work, and where could they find you online? As a matter of fact.
I am easily Googleable. I'm actually redoing my website right now, and the dev site, which people can kind of check it out now, is JohnnyRage, ARGE.com. And basically there's a link there. You can kind of send me anything you want to send me, Another project I'm working on is not only sending me writing, but also pictures. People are sending me just like 5 random pictures that they like, and I'll kind of work with that. And
what's the most bizarre found source that you've had?
What?
What's the most bizarre thing that somebody has given you in order to spark some creativity?
Most bizarre thing. Okay. My one friend Cassie is a teacher in New York City, poetry teacher.
Yeah.
And she mainly works with young adults who have disabilities. And she sent me one letter that kind of had like these kind of weird, illegible scratchings on it. And it was on this like yellow paper and just like very confusing. But it was interesting. And to kind of try and speak that language is something that I would really like to do with all my artwork, really, is to basically speak with somebody else's words.
I like that a lot.
So I'm really working with that one right now, actually, and it's just a really cool thing to kind of speak a different way. Because I've only been speaking from my.
Is it almost that? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. There's a delay on the radio.
No, you're the host, man. You got to.
Would you call it that you interpret when somebody sends you something like that? When you have a poem or you have a photo and they purposely give it to you in order to spark some creativity, would you say that you're reinterpreting the source material?
I think it's more. I work based on spontaneity. I work very fast and emotional, and I can't work slow. So basically, I'll just read the material over and over again before I start, and then I'll just kind of dive in and I won't know exactly what I'm drawing or what I'm doing. I'll just kind of start making this kind of mess, and that's what the term I call it is revealing the unconscious. I basically just make this kind of blob, and then I'll see something in it. I'll see a figure or something that kind of relates to the poem or the writing or whatever, and then I'll develop that further, and then I'll get a final image.
I can't describe artwork for the life of me, and to me the greatest thing is that after we get off the line, people Google you and they take a look at your artwork because I love your stuff, and they're also rather large. But if you had to describe what medium you work in, and I know all artists hate labels, what would you describe it as? Because I've seen some of your figurative works, I've seen multimedia, and I've seen very abstract pieces, not necessarily in the same show, but over time. How would you describe yourself if you had to make a pitch to a gallery? What would you say about your own work?
I guess I'm an expressionist. I mean, I guess my paintings start off as an abstract expressionist piece, and then I turn it into kind of more of a narrative and a story. I usually like to work with figures, I guess I would say I'm a mixed media artist mainly as far as the material that I use. Like right now, I'm using like garbage bags and like all these kind of different papers I'm using, and Elmer's glue should really give me an endorsement because I just use a shitload of glue to keep everything together and kind of mix. It's like a symphony, all these kind of different instruments and materials that kind of just all form together.
Now, you had the Fresh show. I have to send kudos out to two of my friends. I mean, the curators for Fresh are Alan Boulos and Rob Edwin. And real quickly, I mean, they have the monthly art shows over at Toast Coffee House. It's the first Thursday of every month, and it's usually about 7 o'clock p.m. There's always a different artist or a group show, and there is one this Thursday, and that's, John, that's where I first met you. How long did it take for you to prepare the works for that one particular show? Honestly, 2 weeks.
Really?
There was a lot of pieces in that, too.
Some of the work was older, but the majority of the larger pieces that I put in, it was probably 4 or 5 like really larger pieces that I wanted to put in. I slapped together in 2 weeks, and I love working that way. I love working where you just put everything that you have into it. And when that show ended, I got home and all my energy was drained and I couldn't even see. But I got home and I was like, oh, what do I do now? I really just like how that feels, to just kind of really just put physically everything you have into it.
What are some of the shows that you had since that 3-month period? Because I think you've had 2. I think you have one that's either upcoming or just went up, as a matter of fact. Actually, there's a show opening this Thursday at Oyster Bay in Art That Matters. It's called Rhythm and Noise, New Explorations in Color and Form. It's going to be 10 artists in a group show, and I'm lucky to have met and kind of know most of the people there, and they're all great.
It
looks like a nice roster. I recognize some of those names.
Yeah, it's an all-star cast, really. Like I really love all the people, and some of them are personal friends of mine. So, I'm really excited for that, and I've been putting everything I have into it. the work's due tomorrow, and I'm still painting right now. So,
well, I
put it that way.
That you took time to be on the show, dude.
Yeah, no problem,
It
man.
looks like this. Oh, it's awesome. Well, the switchboard only allows me to have one talker on at a time, which I didn't realize. So Pete is also on the line, also my buddy Russ. So I hate to do this, but I'm going to have to cut you off in order to have them on. Real quickly, last time, when people get off from listening to this, where can they find out about your upcoming show, and where can they see some of your work?
You can just Google me, Johnny Stack. John Stack, JohnnyStackArt.com is really my main webpage, and yeah, just I hope everyone can stop by and add me on Facebook if you want. Thanks for a good time, Jeff.
For being on the show, man. I am very appreciative for that, man. I'm gonna go into Pete now because he's on the other line. But thank you for coming, John. I really appreciate this a lot, man.
Thanks, dude. I'll see you soon.
Cool. Yeah. We're gonna be talking soon. Thanks. That was John Stack, one of my favorite artists from Long Island. Any questions, concerns, complaints, or ideas, please call us. The number is 310-807-5191. Let's see where we got my good buddy Russ. Can you hear me, buddy?
I'm here.
Hey, man, I'm sorry for the wait. I had no idea the switchboard only allows the one talker at a time. How are you doing at work, man?
I'm doing good. They just had your favorite guy, Steve Spielberg, on, and King's Speech.
That's right, it's Oscar night. We didn't get to Oscar night.
King's Speech just swept, so.
Did it win Best Picture?
Yes.
It did?
Spoilers,
that means
spoilers.
it's the end of the night. And the only thing I was remotely excited about tonight is that Christian Bale, I think, won Best Supporting Actor, and completely unaffiliated with the Oscars is that we have a new General Zod, but we don't have to launch into that at the moment.
That will be this Friday at 5 on Radioactive, my program.
I love your program.
We will be
That was so
talking
much
about
fun on
movie
Friday.
reboots, and I've already made my shameless plug for this evening.
No, we welcome shameless plugs. That's all good.
Oh yeah.
Now, listen,
that's what we're all about.
Is there any way that you can stay on? Is there any way that you can stay on for a few minutes while I have Pete on real quick?
Absolutely. I'm here.
Stay on, bud, because I want to hear more about Radioactive. Let's see. Do we have the next caller on the line?
Hey, Chad.
Pete, how are you? Ladies and gentlemen,
I'm good.
This is Peter Galasso, who is another great artist from Long Island, and I'm very happy to have you on the show. Sorry for the wait.
Happy to be here. I was kind of hoping that we would speak together, the three of us, with Yumi and John.
Yeah, well, this is a big learning experience. I know the last time it was you, me, and John. It was after hours, after his art show, and I really enjoyed the camaraderie because the two of you were really going at it because I think that you have a certain amount of similarities with your artwork, but I love listening to artists debate theories with each other.
Yeah, we do have strong similarities in process.
Now, Pete, obviously outside of this, you happen to be one of my close friends, so I'm a big fan, but if you had to describe your own artwork, because I have my own way of describing it, how would you make the pitch about the type of stuff that you do?
Well, it's abstract art, and abstract art emerges from feelings and intuition, and from that side of the brain that doesn't relate to words or logic, so it's kind of hard to describe with words, but suffice it to say that it's based more on feeling and memory, emotion, unconscious, things like that.
So, you and I have had this discussion before. I know that you were writing first, and then you got into music, which I have questions about. And finally, painting is actually kind of sort of the most recent medium that you've dabbled in. But if you're going for more than emotion, it's almost like you know all the aesthetic, but it sounds like the way that you approach it is almost like someone who were to write poetry or stream of consciousness writing, where there's an aesthetic there, but you kind of sort of let your mind run free instead.